drilled. Deep left field. Gone!
Summer weekends are waning, so spend one more at the ballpark. That looks really good. Tailgating's been great at the park. Sox and Cubs, game number 3, series at stake today. Look at everybody mingling, just nice-like. On another scorching day at the ballpark, Sunday afternoon, ready to go. Sox are 10 up in the AL Central. Cleveland lost yesterday, 75-56 the Sox record. 19 games over 500. And on the mound today, former Cub prospect, now White Sox right-hander Dylan Cease, who gave up just 3 earned runs against the Cubs August the 8th. Kyle Hendricks, only 2 earned runs in his start against the Sox. Thanks for joining us. Crosstown one more time. Jason and Steve along with you. Look, Dylan Cease has been just outstanding. We've seen him turn a corner this year, I believe, right?
I think, look, it's great growth on the part of Dylan Cease because he's getting the curveball over the plate. He's doing just about everything right, and he's been consistent. That was something earlier in his career he couldn't do. 3 or fewer earned runs in his last 9 starts. Overall, it's really been a great year for him. He just keeps on getting better as he gets more command, and right now, coming off that Toronto ball game where he was absolutely brilliant, it should be a good one today. It's a scorcher here. We'll see which way the wind is blowing, but we do know one thing. It's hot, it's humid, and we're playing baseball. And we got to stop this guy. Patrick Wisdom, 4 home runs over the last 2 games. First rookie in Cubs history with consecutive multi-homer games. They started playing in 1876, so it's pretty much a great accomplishment. And as far as Wisdom is concerned, he seems to be hitting everything. He's hitting changeups, he's hitting low fastballs. We'll see what Dylan Cease has for him today, but you keep track of Wisdom, you're in pretty good shape.
His mustache looks like it's from 1876.
Grow another one if he hits 2 more home runs.
Yasmani Grandal had a huge day on Friday. He is part of our Audi Plays of the Week. They're coming up when you return, and you will.
NBC Sports Chicago is brought to you in part by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Choose Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to carry through it all. The 2021 Ford F-150. It's tougher and smarter than ever before with the tools you need for on-site capability. Check one out at your local Ford dealer today. Xfinity Mobile. Get nationwide 5G on the fastest, most reliable network. Only with Xfinity Mobile. And by Wintrust, home of White Sox checking. Visit wintrust.com/Sox to open today.
Sox and Cubs, game number 3 coming up. 8 RBIs for Yasmani Grandal the other day. Part of our Plays of the Week brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Audi dealers. And it's over the wall. Hernandez. It is gone. Wow, Luis Robert. This one's gone. Back-to-back home run. It is out of here. A little cushion for the Sox. Another home run. It is. Oh, welcome back, tie game. That is an 8 RBI night on his return from rehab.
Unbelievable.
Yes, it was unbelievable, Steve. Series on the line, Sox and Cubs. Season series already to the Sox. Second series win. Hanging in the balance, as they say in announcer school. First pitch next. Jazzy Sunday at the ballpark.
Beautiful day today. A little toasty, but not bad, and a lot of fans once again here.
Dylan Cease to the mound for the Sox, wearing the 83 jerseys on Sunday. Here's your Insure on the Spot starting lineup. Get your free auto insurance quote and save in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. Okay, so we put this on the graphic because something stands out. One of these things is not like the other.
It looks like if you get out Patrick Wisdom, you're going to be in pretty good shape. I mean, that's how that speaks to me.
Yeah, good takeaway. You live on Baker Street?
Dylan Cease going to the mound for his 27th start of the year. He's looking for his 11th win. His ERA has sunk below 4. A lot of strikeouts, 177 of them in 137 2/3. Control has been pretty good by and large, and that's what he's going to lean on, that four-seam fastball, especially up in the zone. The slider's getting better. It's at 30% of the time. The curveball, which is really good, by the way, is a little over 15%, and I believe as he matures, he'll throw more of those. The changeup, not so much. Our UA Health defense, and this is how Tony La Russa puts them out there on this steamy afternoon. It's Eloy, Luis, and Brian left to right, with Jake, Liuri, Cesar, and Andrew Vaughn at first base. Yasmani Grandal has got the plate once again, looking for another 8 RBI day, and Dylan Cease on the hill.
Beautiful day for baseball, the type of day that you dream about when it's December. And then when it's August and it's 90, you say, I wish it was a little cooler.
Well, billowy clouds. It's a Sunday scorcher. 56% humidity. That's actually down at 88 degrees, so the ball should be lively if you can hit it in the air.
Here we go. First inning brought to you by Toyota. Ortega likes to hit the ball in the air, and he takes a first pitch that's off the plate, a fastball, ball 1. Sox are 19 games over 500, 10 games up on Cleveland in the AL Central as we get going on August the 29th. About a month left in this season, and the magic number ticking away for the Chicago White Sox. Jake Lamb playing third, as you mentioned, gives out a run. It's 1-1. Official start time 1:10 p.m. And as we were walking into the ballpark, you and I both noticed it is a very windy day.
It is that, and that wind, which is blowing fiercely to left center field, is going to aid anything that way. You're going to be able still to get a line drive out in right field, but it's really going to help high fly balls in left and left center.
Ortega to first. Andrew Vaughn playing his natural position and looking very natural doing so. One gone.
Ortega's a dead pull hitter, and so it was wise of Andrew Vaughn to be close to the bag. You see, he's pretty close to the line, and then first base pretty much like third base. It's not necessarily speed, but it's first step quickness. Andrew able to get it, retire Ortega, and it's always important with Happ and Wisdom up 3 and 4 that you retire the leadoff man.
Trying to split up Happ and Wisdom and get a 1-2-3 first inning for Dylan Cease as Schwindel gets a curveball for a strike.
I like the fact that he's establishing that breaking ball early. That's going to hold him in pretty good shape today, assuming he throws strikes with it.
High heat, 1 ball, 1 strike, 97. So the difference of nearly 20 miles an hour fastball to curveball.
Schwindel, one of the few Cubs to have a bad day yesterday. But this season for him has been a revelation.
High slider, 2-1. So 3 separate pitches to go to 2-1. He is a Schwindel, a Northeast kid born in New Jersey. 18th round pick of Kansas City, and some playing time here. He's done fairly well for himself for the Cubs.
Throws a high fastball by him. Looks like the fastball pretty lively for Dylan Cease. Outfield pretty much straight away, as is the infield. No bias at all for Schwindel.
He has said before in an interview, people ask him how to pronounce his name. He says, Schwinn like the bike, Dell like the computer.
Well, that's easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
You say Stone like the pebble?
It's just my spelling is wrong. It's an easy name to pronounce.
Foul back toward us and just over the booth.
I think there's someone aiming at us. After yesterday and today, we're getting a lot of a lot of incoming in the booth, or close to it.
Well, I have to say, on our shirts, there's an NBC peacock. And so there is a slight red dot on our chests.
It's true.
Thank you for agreeing with me. 3-2, struck him out. A high slider and 2 gone.
Well, he did use all of his arsenal except for the straight change to Schwindel. That's good late movement. You couldn't pick up the spin. I think Schwindel thought this was going to be a fastball. It was not. Moving ever so gently away.
Player profile presented by Geico. Make it easy. This is strikeouts per 9. Dylan Cease, 4th in Major League Baseball and joining some big names in the sport.
And you notice only one real young pitcher on that list, and that's Dylan. Usually takes you a while to be able to understand how to put hitters away. A lot of guys will go to 2 strikes, find themselves at 3 and 2. Then the hitter makes contact or you walk him. Dylan's getting a whole lot better at putting hitters away.
I was going to say, it feels like last year to this year, and the numbers back that up. He's done a much better job with put-away pitches.
And he's struggling a little bit with his breaking ball this inning, which is not unusual for a curveball pitcher in the first inning. Because you're going to a new mound, even though it's close to the bullpen mound. And that's the place for Ian Happ. If he doesn't lay off that pitch, he can't catch up to it, and he's not going to be able to hit the ball upstairs.
Two and 1. Swing and a miss. Slider, middle of the zone. 2-2. I mean, that's how good Dylan's stuff is, right?
Yeah, I've said it before. People said, nah, that's not it. He's got the best stuff on the staff. Right now, not the best pitcher on the staff, but he's getting better and better with each and every outing.
Oh, brilliant. Pinpoint, locked into the corner. Dylan Cease, an outstanding first inning.
Sets him up with a slider and wipes him out with the heat.
20 over 500 with a win today. And here's your Insure on the Spot starting lineup. Get your free auto insurance quote and save in just 2 minutes at insureonthespot.com. Career slugging percentage against the Cubs, Abreu 657. Eloy Jimenez has made a career out of beating the Cubs to this point. I mean, it's been about a dozen games, but there's your lineup. Tim Anderson out, still some soreness in his legs, gets the day game off, and they'll face that guy.
And Kyle Hendricks to the mound for his 27th start. He's had a really nice year, the ERA up over 4, but the rest of his game is pretty stout. He's not going to walk too many people. He's got a very good straight change. Now, he will give up some base hits, but they're the key matchups. Cesar Hernandez, not that good. Abreu has pelted him. And Yasmani Grandal has not done well, but this is the new improved Yasmani. So David Ross for our UI Health defense. It's Happ, Ortega, and Hayward in the outfield with Wisdom, Alcantara, Duffy, and Rivas in the infield. Austin Romine's got the plate.
Strike one to Cesar Hernandez from Kyle Hendricks. One of the last vestiges of the previous era of Cub baseball on the hill.
He's going to throw a little bit more refined, but very much like Alec Mills. He's going to use high fastballs. Hendricks' changeup is better than Mills, but Mills was brilliant last night. So the boys are hoping to get good looks at Hendricks, especially early.
This is a fascinating pitching matchup because you have two very talented pitchers, and they do it pretty much as polar opposites in the way they handle things. You see the first inning has been really rough for Hendricks.
I think one of the reasons that is you have a hard time getting a good feel for your straight change, especially. That takes a while for the adrenaline to burn off, and then you get the feel of that pitch. That's one of the reasons why Hendricks has given up some runs early.
Called strike three on a fastball to the corner and one down. That was a heck of a pitch.
This was a strike. It had the inside part of the plate. Well framed by Romine, and you're right, these two guys do it completely differently.
This is their fastball comparison. Cease is about plus 10 miles an hour. high spin rate. Hendricks barely spins at all. It drops a bunch, it moves a lot, but it's not because of spin necessarily in terms of high spin.
What he's always been able to do is not use the center of the plate. You got 17 inches of the plate to work with. The outer 2 inches, the inner 2 inches, good pitchers use those a lot, and then they go just off the corners to entice swings when they're ahead.
You know, you like when guys like Kyle Hendricks, obviously other than in this game, but you like when they succeed because it forces scouts and front offices to think about guys who don't throw hard to put them in their rotation. Robert just massacres this ball. There is no chance, it is gone. That gave it a run, Steve. There was no opportunity, 1-0.
No, we told you about the first inning. We also told you about what happens when Hendricks falls behind. That's the 26th home run he's given up this year. And I would venture to say a lot of them came on 2-0-3-1. Ford home run replay, and Luis got most of it. We told you that the hitting was there and the power will come. Well, for Luis, the power is going to start to come from here on out because he has huge power.
You said it Friday night. You said that very thing, that it's going to be coming. Then he didn't play yesterday, and so it went out of people's minds. And now here in the first inning and his first at-bat back, there you go.
Yeah, I think when he starts hitting the baseball and shortening his swing to put the ball in play, going the opposite way, he's seeing it very well. When he's seeing it very well with his ability and his strength, it's only a matter of time. I mean, this is going to be a prolific home run hitter. He's going to hit 30+ every year, assuming he stays healthy. And I would envision somewhere down the line, he's going to be driving in runs like Jose Abreu does on a yearly basis.
Jose's at 99 right now. He could drive in himself here as it's 3-0. I think when people hear, go the opposite way, they think just inherently people mean always do that. Well, that's not true. When you're looking the opposite way, sometimes the pull side power happens for you. Right?
Well, look, hitters will tell you that when they're ahead of the pitcher, that's when they really air it out. When they're behind a good pitcher, that's when they have to shorten their stroke and take what the pitcher gives them, which means if they stay away, you go that way. If it's in the middle of the plate, more times than not, you go up the middle.
Jose to right. Late break for Hayward. He's not going to get there. And it's a 1-out single for Jose Abreu, who's 5 for 9 in the series.
He just continues to torment the Cubs. Here's another guy that continues to torment the Cubs.
They know him well.
Yeah, but look, a good trade benefits both teams. You make a good trade, it benefits both teams. I think that was the Kimbrel deal. It's going to benefit the Cubs down the road because of Madrigal and Hoyer. As far as the Quintana deal, he did okay for the Cubs, and obviously the Sox are ecstatic with that trade. But that's how deals are made. I mean, I have a need, you have an abundance of something. Then we make that deal. Or I have something you really want, and you have an abundance of young minor league talent. Then we make a deal.
Yeah, as you said, it's supposed to benefit both sides as Eloy fouls that off.
There's an example of Hendricks not having the good feel yet, because that was a letter-high changeup. When he's right, he does not throw that pitch. He's fortunate that pitch actually stayed in the park.
Changeup just missed.
It was a pretty good pitch. I think that Hendricks wanted that one. Sean Barber said it was, well, a little wide, perhaps.
The fastball he struck Hernandez out on swung back a little bit more than that changeup did. That ball's crushed on the ground, too, but it's going to be 2. Started by Wisdom. Inning over, but Luis Roberts' bat contact still ringing in the ballpark. That ball was cranked out of here. 1-0 Sox after one. 6-0 stuff's over. Today by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, and it's Dylan Cease's swings and misses this year. Here come the sliders into your living room. Put on your 3D glasses. 147 of those, 138 swings and misses on the four-seam fastball. He's been putting away batters better and better this season than last year. And there's that curveball growing with him, and he throws the changeup to lefties predominantly to this point in his career, and he does well with that against left-handers.
Well, he uses the upper part of the zone with his four-seam fastball. It's going to be interesting. This will be an interesting at-bat just to see where Dylan and Ethan Katz look for the soft spots in Patrick Wisdom, because there hasn't been a whole lot of them. And he can make you swing and miss.
And Wisdom will swing and miss. When he makes contact, he's hurt the Sox, obviously, but 4 strikeouts in the series as well.
Now he's in the same position Luis Robert was, and leading off an inning, you just don't want to walk the leadoff man. Too many opportunities for him to score.
Off the plate outside, 3-0, second inning, brought to you by Menards. Let it fly here, what do you think?
I would think David Ross would give him the 3-0 green light.
Not on that. Leadoff walk, 4-pitch walk, and Wisdom is on with Duffy coming up. This game can be maddening, inning to inning. Dylan Cease looked like he could throw a fastball through the peephole of your hotel room door in the first inning.
Then he misses on 4 straight, with 3 of them being fastballs. Duffy will take the ball the other way.
Foul ball, strike 1. Cleveland's in a weather delay. The tarp went on the field initially when the sun was out at Progressive Field. It's supposed to be Eli Morgan and Tanner Houck in that finale against Boston. Cloud cover starting to build here at Guaranteed Rate Field while we're at it. Check swing and a foul, 0-2. So suddenly Dylan Cease is way ahead of Duffy.
He's got to keep his eye on Wisdom, however, for the simple reason that he is really edging away on that lead. I mean, he's never stagnant at first base. One thing Dylan has to do when he releases the baseball is make sure that Wisdom is stationary.
Oh, 2. Another slider, another foul ball.
Wisdom doesn't have the greatest speed around, but he's 3 of 4 in stolen bases, so that's not a bad percentage. I doubt leading off an inning, though, if he's going to go after a straight steal here.
You wouldn't think.
No.
By the way, we know we have Sox fans all the way around America and elsewhere across the earth, and to all our Sox fan friends in the Deep South, in Louisiana and Mississippi, and all of you have family down there, wherever they might be in that area, we are thinking about you with the landfall of Hurricane Ida in the Louisiana area. And to all of you, please stay safe, and we hope everything's good, because that looks like a nasty storm coming on through, and we're thinking about you. Another foul ball.
Dylan's trying to throw it harder. He swung it out of the zone. Duffy's in swing mode, so if you throw a decent slider here, you got a really good chance of getting it, because he's protecting, and he's protecting on a lot of pitches that are up and out of the strike zone.
0-2. On the ground, second base. Cesar. Leori. Double play. 4-6-3. Well turned by a middle infield that doesn't know each other very well.
That was exactly what Dylan Cease needed. He's at the 25 pitch mark. He doesn't want to go deeper into this one. So a little chopper to the right side turns into 2. And a very quick turnaround from Leori Garcia. That was a nice job. He gets a good solid toss, and it's easy after that.
Sox double play brought to you by Elgin Hyundai, home of the double warranty. 20 years, 200,000 miles on every new Hyundai. See elginhyundai.com for details.
Another one you get. Can you give me 25 years if you get another one?
Does this look like an auction? Would you just raise a paddle for the warranty?
No, 25 is good. I like. That's a nice. That's a quarter. That's 25%.
On one of these off days coming up, I'm driving you down to Elgin Hyundai to get the full details of what they can and can't do.
The rundown of the promo. Thank you.
Jason Hayward.
He's at
4 for 7.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good series, and by and large, he's pulled the ball just about each and every time.
Popped up, back of the plate, 1-1. Your 2021 Chicago White Sox, presented by Guaranteed Rate. Visit rate.com to learn how the experts at Guaranteed Rate put your belief in a new home into action. If you believe, you will.
An early,
you'll catch a foul ball, you will.
Yeah, early souvenir. So that's a pretty happy guy.
You ever meet him, early souvenir?
Yeah, he's sitting right down there.
Great pitcher back in the day.
He was.
One of the first spitball pitchers, early souvenir. Strike on a high fastball, and Hayward's not pleased.
Pretty good curveball, but Hayward was able to spoil it, fouling it off, keeping the at-bat alive.
That was not a confident swing from Jason Hayward.
He was just trying to make any kind of contact he could.
Left side, Jake Lamb. Out number 3. Nice job by the infield here in the second inning. Sox have a 1-0 lead on the Robert home run. Off Kyle Hendricks from Luis Robert. And Hendricks, since 2016, when he was one of the best pitchers in baseball, he's a top 10 pitcher, and he's not been an all-star.
The stuff doesn't jump out at you, but the command does. And he is a great guy to have on your staff, because normally he goes fairly deep into the game. And with his control, which usually doesn't desert him, he's going to keep his team in the game. And when you look at his win-loss record for a team that's really struggling, it's even more impressive.
To first off the bat of Lamb, and there is Rivas in his first major league game, making the play for out number 1.
It's amazing. You see Rivas playing first base, and who do I see today? Roy Rivas. Coming back long time, preparer of all things food at the ballpark. Roy and his family, wonderful folks. And good to see Roy. He's doing very well. Just good to see some of the folks who have been many years with the White Sox come back when they have the opportunity.
Roy's a great guy.
Yes, he is.
I didn't recognize him at first because he's got the beard and the mustache. He's got the facial hair going now. Talking about former Sox people, happy birthday to Aaron Rowand today. And happy birthday to Brooks Boyer and Mike Mazza, who share a birthday. VP of Marketing, Brooks Boyer. Mike Mazza in the ticket office for so long. He's a wonderful guy. Brooks as well.
Pretty popular day to be born.
It is. Everybody was born today. 2 days they can say I wasn't born yesterday. 2 down. Sox fans, lock in your seats for 2022 with a ticket package and get postseason for 2021. Time's now. Don't miss any of the action to come. For more information, visit whitesox.com/season tickets or call 312-674-1000. You know, Brooks should be rolling in it tonight. He's got 6 kids. He's got a big family, the Boyer family, big sports fans, big sports players as well. So Brooks should get just a boatload of gifts today.
I would think they've been picking them out for months.
They wouldn't dare play Yahtzee with him, though, because he's a Yahtzee ringer.
Last changeup that Hendricks threw was a really good one. So it's not great news that he's starting to get the feel for the change. But he's in a situation, once again, he's fallen behind 2-0, which for him is not a good situation to be in.
Change-up on 2-0 for a strike.
I mean, that pitch is essential to him, and he doesn't mind throwing at any count. So billowy clouds around the ballpark.
They are billowy.
Definitely, yeah. Sox had a very good shot at Hendricks in that first inning when he was struggling with command, especially of the change. And we came away with the 1 run.
Check swing. No, 3-2.
Dan Bellino said he did not swing, and I don't think he came all that close to swinging. This is inside, starts the hands, but, well, maybe he was close. But not that close. Not close enough.
Line to left. Andrews serves a fastball for a 2-out single.
What happens when you fall behind 2-0, you've got to battle back with some pitches that you like, and eventually he loses the battle to Andrew Vaughn and keeps the inning alive. Brian Goodwin, he's got to keep one between the lines today because he's going to hit the ball hard against Hendricks. Just a question of not getting out too soon.
Well, change-up will do that to you.
Change up, and sometimes going out to get the slider before it gets inside. You have a tendency to turn the head of the bat over and yank it foul.
Happen left. Back to the track and the wall. It is gone! Oh, it's a gusty day and bluster from Brian Goodwin for a 3-0 lead.
Well, Goodwin did hit it hard, and that one just kept on going. I mean, I'm sure Ian Happ thought he had a play. But Brian Goodwin, who is been a pull hitter, he didn't pull it. Ford home run replay. Looks like he got a fastball. It was out over the plate, and all he did was pop it over the left field wall.
That was a flat-footed swing, basically.
Yep.
Brian Goodwin, here is an oddity that is very Kamka-esque. 6 of his 8 home runs have come in the second inning.
That's pretty amazing. But if that's the case, let him hit twice in the second.
Yet another stat that just fell out of Chris Kamka's beard after he was at the game yesterday with the Sabres Chicago crew, including Baseball Reference founder Sean Foreman. Every baseball fan should thank Sean Foreman for his duty in creating Baseball Reference, the grand website for baseball stats. His brother, Chris Foreman, is the tremendous sports information director at Purdue. Sportsy family. 0-2. Love the reaction from Leuri there. High sinker called strike 3. Brian Goodwin lays into one. He did keep it fair, Steve.
He did indeed.
Curveball.
I will, because Dylan Cease throws a knuckle curveball. You can see the index finger kind of tucked, and different pitchers use it different ways. It is a knuckle curve, but not in the traditional sense. And this is how you hold it. You see the index finger is up, and when you deliver the ball, the index finger obviously comes off the ball, but pitchers feel they get more spin using that. The conventional curveball is like this. You pull down on a seam, you push up on a seam. This isn't traditional, but for Dylan Cease, it's very effective. And again, that index finger is, you can see it raised actually, and then you still rotate the ball down. He feels he can pull down on it better and get more spin and make it break more sharply.
How do you decide when you're starting to throw a curveball which one to use?
I think you always start out with the traditional grip, and then if it's not working for you, you go to maybe different grips. You grab it a different place on the baseball, or you tuck your index finger in and try to make it rotate that way.
Which did you throw so people know?
I threw the conventional, and I didn't. A lot of people like the four-seam curveball, which means right as the horseshoe is forming, you're using all four seams to make it tumble. But I actually used a two-seam curveball.
Really?
For whatever reason, yeah, it worked better for me.
I have more questions on that. Lamb to first, 1 out. Did you ever try the other way?
No, I didn't. No, because when I started pitching at 10, I was in Little League, and I was very small and had no velocity whatsoever. So I used the pitch that I thought I could get over the plate. It wasn't really a put-away pitch. It was to get ahead in the count. And as I got older, got more velocity, got a little bigger, I still stayed with pretty much the same grip.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's all personal preference. Any way you can get the ball to spin is the way to do it.
MLB debut for Rivas, and it's a base hit. Arizona Wildcat Alfonso Rivas with a 1-out single.
He didn't wait around too long for Dylan Cease to use a put-away pitch. He just went after the first pitch in the zone.
Chain of custody. Who wants to mess with him?
Duffy and Wisdom battling over it. It's a fastball down, and Rivas takes it right back up the middle.
Got that first hit out of the way.
By the time he tells his kids about that, it's going to be 200 miles an hour exit velocity. He doesn't know how the park held it.
3 infielders ducked. I hit it so hard. Strike 1 to Alcantara, the shortstop for the Cubs. There's a curveball. So in Little League, you were at 10 years old spinning curveballs into the top of the zone for strikes?
Yeah, I promised my father I wouldn't snap my wrist, and I don't recommend curveballs to young pitchers.
Right, right.
I had a promise to my dad that I wouldn't snap it, that I would roll it, and so I got command of it before I actually started to throw hard-breaking curveballs.
Lamb gives it a run here. This will be foul. So you were throwing like a modified version of a curveball.
Yeah, it was a very slow breaking, arcing pitch that made it effective, but I was one of the few guys, I believe, as a pitcher who made the major leagues and had a 500 winning percentage in Little League.
Really?
Yeah. Most of the guys pitching here will tell you, I dominated. I won 42 games in a row. I gave up 2 runs in 1,000 innings. That wasn't the case. I got hit pretty hard.
Huh. So when did it happen for you? When did you get good?
Probably started 11th grade.
Really? You're right. That's very late. Like usually these guys, everybody's 20-0 in Little League.
Yeah, well, because normally, although people don't like to acknowledge that pitchers are pretty good athletes, normally you're a pretty good athlete, and so you do dominate because you have great hand-eye coordination.
1-2 for Alcantara. And he struck him out. There's a slider away. 3rd strikeout for Cease.
Right now in Dylan's career, he has more confidence and better command of his slider. Even though this isn't a great one, it moves well enough, and Alcantara swings through it, and you're grabbing it off to the side and releasing it somewhat like you release a football. And the slider is thrown by most guys not off the middle finger, but off the index finger. That gives it kind of side spin you're looking for. And the evolution of the slider to this generation is now everybody's looking for depth. That wasn't always the case when the slider, which was called the nickel curve, was eventually invented.
It was to run in on hands, basically.
Was to push a left-hand hitter off the plate and slide straight across for a right-hand hitter, because a hitter's eyes are like computers. They know exactly what it takes to get the barrel of the bat to the ball. Anything a pitcher can do to disrupt that, to move it from the sweet spot to the end of the bat or the inside part of the bat, that's what a pitcher is trying to do.
Tell you what, a couple of sliders to the outside corner, now 1-1 for Ortega.
Hit the ball pretty hard the first time. Andrew Vaughn on the play down the line. He's going to be on the line because he's holding Rivas close at first.
Set up in. That one's lined down the right field side and foul. Rafael Ortega, 3-home run game August the 1st. He walked off the Rockies to help the Cubs to finally get themselves a home win. And then last night, an 0-2 pitch grand slam, which led Lance Lynn to say, in not so many words, that he had a bad night.
Well, there's no question. And he also walked Alcantara, who was hitting 180 at the time, ahead of him, and that's probably frustrating for Lance.
There are a number of things that can be hazardous to an announcer's career. One of them at this point is direct Lance Lynn quotes.
Well, he's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, he is.
Not probably, maybe made for cable as opposed to regular TV.
The old slogan to modify it, it's not TV, it's Lance Lynn. 2-2 on Ortega. Love the guy. I mean, he is as south side of Chicago as it gets. Lance Lynn through Brownsburg, Indiana, near Indianapolis, to Oxford, Mississippi, where he played his college ball, around Major League Baseball, and now here to the Sox. 2-2, runner goes. This is high in the air, left side. See if the wind plays some tricks. Lamb is over, and that'll do it. Rivas got his first major league hit. Good for him. Sox get out of the inning, no runs. Good for them.
NBCSportsChicago.com, presented by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Get to enjoy knowing the Vuk as much as you do the jingle at JeffVuk.com, because Nationwide is on your side. Very nice. On your side.
Oh, the second verse.
Close to the first.
Literally, same as the first, I was going to say. I like the second verse. Bonus Nationwide never hurts anybody. Somebody needs to tweet at Nationwide and ask them for us if there is a second verse that we need to know about. This golf to right field. Cesar is on with a leadoff single in the third.
There's a big story coming.
Huge story. Presented by Mattress Firm. They were going to be the big story anyway, and Luis Robert made himself a story in the first inning.
Well, you take a look at Eloy and Luis coming back from injuries. It's really added a whole lot to this team, to the tune of 316, combined 11 homers, combined 38 driven in. So between the on-base percentage, the slugging percentage, and everything else they do, it's good to see him back.
They have a high slugging percentage and a high hugging percentage as well.
That's also good.
To third, Wisdom, Duffy, double play.
I'm not sure what the record is for grounding into double plays, but I think in the last 3 weeks, Sox are at or near the top. Been grounding into a lot of them, but that means there's a lot of guys on.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Sox, again, since June 30th, lead Major League Baseball in home runs. At the same time, simultaneously, you could say, they're maintaining number 2 in baseball in ground ball percentage.
Well, you would think they go hand in hand.
That is, you could say, often baffling. One ball, one strike to Abreu.
Well, look, Jose, in certain situations, is hitting situationally. But with 2 outs, nobody on, the only thing he's thinking about is hitting the ball out of the ballpark if he can get a pitch to his liking.
Didn't go on the changeup. Crystal Lake's finest, Dan Bellino with the call. What's that, about 20-25 minutes from here?
It's just down the road.
We were talking about that in the booth before the game. Talk to anybody from any suburb, they say it's 20-25 minutes from the city. Hayward leaves it to the infielder, and Duffy and the Cubs are out of a quick third. Sox are up 3.
Marrying my sister next summer. Tom, what would you give up in order for the White Sox to win a World Series this fall?
Sorry, babe. White Sox 2021.
Jason and Steve, back to you.
It's a family with a sense of humor, thank goodness.
It's a very hefty price to pay.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, I think it's a great video.
Number of complete games you threw for the Sox, plus the number of complete games you threw for the Cubs.
Ooh. Not going to be a lot of numbers in this one.
Some, though.
Yeah, some.
This inning sponsored by Elk Grove Village, proud to support makers and dreamers. Learn more at makerswanted.org. I have to say, as you were saying that, Chris Withers, our producer, hit his button to talk to me to do that 4th inning sponsor thing. And when he does that, that opens up his microphone from the truck. Is that strike 2 on the check swing to Schwindel? As he did that, it was as though White Sox baseball was filmed in front of a live studio audience, and you got the greatest laugh in history. Somebody behind Chris was cackling at what you just said about your complete games.
Yeah, well, that was an era where we didn't want to complete games.
Yes, you did.
Oh, I forgot.
You liar. No go.
This time, Dan Bellino says he did not go. It's a good biting breaking ball, but as enticing as it was, Schwindel was able to hold up his swing. You got 3 on the left side for Frank. He actually runs pretty well for a fairly big guy.
Check swing again. Dan again. 3 straight Dan Bellinos.
And here is the triple Bellino. Did not swing. Good call by Dan. No, even Frank says, I didn't swing.
Dan's an attorney. I think 3 straight appeals means that's a billable hour.
Heated up a fastball upstairs and could not quite get it by him.
Two and 2 for Schwindel. Time called. Throwing the curveball. Left field. Eloy back at the track and the wall, and this one gets up and out of here for Schwindel to lead off the 4th.
Sixth home run. He's driven in 20, and he battled at his bat to stay alive until finally getting one to his liking. We'll watch it again, our 4th home run replay. This appears to be a slider that doesn't move away quite enough.
Willie Harris. Ball 1, 2.5. So we saw the Cubs homer their way to a big number last night and 7-0. The Sox have hit 3 or more homers 15 times this year. Somehow opponents have hit 26 times 3 home runs or more in a game. That disparity you wouldn't expect for a team with 19 games over 500.
Sometimes, honestly, it's just a matter of bad luck.
And when the pitchers have given up home runs, the offense has countered that day. This one to left down the line and foul.
Finally slicing at the last instant, moving off the line.
Got him swinging on the curveball. Yasmani to first, 1 gone. StatCast presented by Google Cloud with Wisdom coming up. So last 2 games, here are the home runs. 4-seamer and changeup. Not good spots for those, but the one was way off the plate.
Off the plate inside, he still took it out. He's pulled every one of his home runs. Normally, he's got big power to straightaway center field. Dillon wanted no part of him leading off the second inning.
I will give you 100 guesses as to who had the last multi-homer game back-to-back. Well, you don't get to guess.
I'll guess the last one before Wisdom. I'm thinking Rusty Greer.
So there's a level of sync going on with the truck that.
What do you think?
Does
that have a chance to be right on that one?
Yeah, I think it's Rusty Greer. I saw that today, and I honestly think I want to say, I feel like I was either watching those games. I don't know if it was a home game, but I have a very distinct recollection of that from 1997. I don't know why. Good guess, Steve.
Thank you.
Well done. Whoever was laughing in the truck earlier about your Sox math comment was also laughing at that happening. A good old time in the truck today. Yeah, they are. We have a 6-piece band for this show for Cubs Sox as well.
Need every piece of it.
1-2 for Wisdom. He got him fastball.
Well, I don't know what he was looking for, but I think he got a fastball that absolutely fooled him. Let's take another look. Yaz wants it inside. This one has the whole plate. I mean, it is straight down the middle, and I think Wisdom is probably sitting there going, how in the world did I take that? But, yeah, that's the look. Boy, what an idiot I am. However, he has 4 for the series. And I don't think he's going to be real hard on himself with what he's accomplished in this ballpark this series, because it's been pretty awesome.
Strike 1.
By the way, I got a baseball card in the mail from part of the Chris Kampka family.
Really?
His father, Michael Kampka. And because I always guess George Bell, he sent me a George Bell baseball card.
Did he really?
Yeah, very nice.
Huh.
I'm sure he found it in Chris's beer. But I have it. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that.
He said, come here, son. I need a card from Stoney.
And we appreciate your son.
We appreciate him quite a bit. He's a wonderful dude. Loves baseball. He took 2 days off, and while he was off, he was hanging out with baseball people and talking baseball and taking in baseball games. balls and a strike. A couple people have tweeted at me after I said Crystal Lake was 20-25 minutes, jokingly saying your Chicago geography needs work. It was a bit. We were doing a bit. Thank you. That's what everybody says in Chicago. You live in the suburbs, and they invite you to a party, and you say, how long is it going to take me to get there? They say, 20-25 minutes. And then you go, it's an hour and a half. Tell me that's never happened. I mean, that always happens. It's the GPS version of Is It Raining? 20-25 minutes. Raining by you? 25 minutes away. 3-2. Check swing, ball 4.
The last time the Pirates visited the south side of Chicago, Lucas Giolito threw a no-hitter. What's going to happen this time? Catch the first of 2-game series on NBC Sports Chicago Tuesday at 6:30.
Pirates were tough customers the first time.
Well, they divested themselves of a few of the players. And it's been a tough go for them this year.
Could have lopped off this year. Jason Hayward. And that ball off of Grandal, but no advancement from Duffy.
Yes, was able to keep it in the neighborhood. Bounces out of the glove. Duffy doesn't really know how far it's going to pop away, so with Hayward up, 2 outs in the inning, he doesn't want to make the third out at second.
It looked like the ring toss at the carnival. Like you think you got it, and then you throw it, and there's no chance that it's actually going to land. It was in his glove. Came right back out.
It was indeed. Now Dillon, for at least a short period of time, has lost his command. He's got to go back in his own mind. Remember what that command felt like. Try to bring himself back to that. Because sometimes it starts to slip away, and younger pitchers especially can't bring it back as quickly as they'd like.
Served to center. 5th hit in the series for Hayward, and Romine will bat.
Hayward, being a smart hitter, is looking fastball all the way because he's got a pitcher on the mound that was fighting his control. Knows he's going to get a 2-0 fastball. He doesn't want to go to 3-0 with him. It just hits it right back up the middle. And now Ethan Katz is going to go out there and probably mention something similar to what I just said about what he's going to impart to Dillon in this situation.
Hey, join us at Guaranteed Rate Field for the Run Your Socks Off 5K presented by Guaranteed Rate, coming up September 18th. Racers will cross the finish line on field, followed by a post-race party on the concourse presented by Michelob Ultra. A portion of the proceeds benefits White Sox charities and the Guaranteed Rate Foundation. Learn more at whitesox.com/run. You gonna be there?
No. Ordinarily, I'd like to.
You did check your schedule, though, in that 2-second span before you said no.
My whole schedule, yes.
So Romine, who had the day off yesterday, they're going with the 1 Romine set today. Ooh, slider. Might have to go get a new implement, or at least that one that ended up behind home plate a while.
Yeah, he threw that all the way to the logo. Thought he had a good shot at it, and the bat goes flying.
You don't see that too much where it goes behind you.
No, usually it goes toward the Sox dugout.
Frank D'Amato was very worried for his camera behind home plate. 1-1 for Romine. Duffy at second, Hayward at first. A home run from Schwindel started the inning. Long inning for Dylan Cease. Way behind, 98.
Well, if Dylan wants to wipe him out with a slider here, he probably can do that. This inning has been labor intensive. Pitch number 28 on the way, and Dylan would like to end it right here.
Slider that tickles the outside corner. Sox still lead. Strike up the band. We told you, spare no expense in the truck. That's our whole band. We got the drums somewhere else. We got a tuba even, sousaphone. The truck is loaded. Big time television, kids. Through a lot of complete games for the Sox and the Cubs.
As it turned out,
yes. You got Mike Ganella, another video.
Well, he's been pretty good.
He's the Robert Zemeckis of Sox Math, the Jerry Bruckheimer of Sox Math. We'll see another high-quality video from Mike Ganella. And a quick note on the Sox Math video from earlier. I sincerely hope that marriage works out. Because if it doesn't, they're going to be playing the Sox Math video, and I don't want to be part of that for that family. So I really hope. It seemed like they love each other very much, and I don't want that to ever be a piece of evidence.
No, they're going to be just fine.
1-1. 2 balls and a strike on Eloy Jimenez. Great creativity. Love the video. Sox have 2 homers today. Brian Goodwin, Luis Robert. First base side, Rivas does have a play.
Heat, humidity, storms, whatever summer throws at you. Be prepared with the NBC Chicago app. Get live radar at your fingertips and alerts to let you know when rain and storms are on the way. Use the QR code to download now.
I like those travel fans.
Saw them yesterday. Very nice.
Jake Lamb fouls off the first pitch from Hendricks.
There is a big gap for Jake in right center field, and normally he will pull the ball. Playing 3 on the right side in the infield. I think you should take a good look at that from now till the end of this season, because I don't think you're going to see that next year. That's the feeling I get.
They're going to ban the shift?
No, but they're going to modify the shift. I think they're not going to allow anybody to play on the grass. I think you can pretty much play them where you want to as long as you're on the dirt, which will aid usually pull hitters. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't know exactly, but there's a lot to be decided in the collective bargaining agreement, which is coming up this winter.
There's that change up from Hendricks, 2 down. But why do that? I still haven't gotten a great explanation for why to ban the shift, which has been around for 100 years, basically.
Well, Lou Boudreau might have been the first to try to stifle Ted Williams, who never made any accommodation. He just tried to hit it through the shift. But I think one of the reasons is you'll probably see more base hits, more base running, and as an ancillary benefit, probably more runs.
But if they think hitters are going to try for more singles because of that, they got another thing coming.
No, it's not a question of that. It's just that on the balls that are hit into the shift, there won't be as many angles to run them down. Once it gets by you, it's by you.
You like it? We'll find out later.
Yeah.
Grandal, the center. That's a tease, kid.
Ordinarily, I'd tell you, but I'm going to hold it in abeyance.
The music theme's got to go. Presented by Bob Locurcio Auto Group. And we'll start with this from Luis Robert. Crushed. Left field, Sox led at that point 1-0 on a solo home run. Left field has been the way to go today. Brian Goodwin found that out in the second inning.
Didn't seem to hit this ball at all, and it kept on drifting into the bullpen. That one didn't need a whole lot of help, but Swindell got it off the end of the bat and rode it all the way out of the park.
There you have it, 3-1 into the fifth inning. You're caught up. Thanks to the fine folks at Bob Locurcio Auto Group.
If Rivas retires, he will be the kid who hit 1,000.
Yeah, good way to do it. Just walk off, say, I did everything I wanted to in this game. Curveball, a strike. So, do you like changing the shift?
Well, I think it's inevitable. Let's put it that way. I don't particularly care for it because I'm all for what gets hitters out more. On the other side of the coin, I think base running, speed, defense, I think that's kind of the artistry of the game, especially defense. And they're going to make some changes to it. Not all of them are going to be bad. Some will be implemented for a while and some will go away.
You know, it's interesting you talk about base running and speed. Just because there are more runners at first base doesn't mean teams are going to want to steal more. Like the odds of stealing and the value of stealing, that looks really good. Although some might argue with the catcher. That's a fair ball down the line. Rivas is 2 for 2.
That was a pretty good piece of hitting because he had seen the curveball. And looks like he just went with it. Didn't try to pull it. Hit it exactly where it was pitched and took it down the line. It's another curve. It's out away, and he went that way. So nice piece of hitting. Now he's 2 for 2. He can still retire and be the kid who hit 1,000. I think he'll hang around for a bit.
You think so?
Yeah.
Fifth inning brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade.
Lamb in at third base at the cut of the grass, just in case. Alcantara's laying one down.
High slider, ball 1. I mean, Major League Baseball has experimented with a lot of things, whether it be in their proprietary minor leagues, with the changing of the bases, or with the pitch clock, or whatever it might be. They have that contract with the Atlantic League as well to tinker with some rules, including moving the mound back recently, which some pitchers are very unhappy about in the Atlantic League.
And he moved it back 1 foot. And the irony is, in the short span that they've been calculating the results, they're almost similar in every aspect. Whether it's batting average, runs scored, number of hits, everything else is really eerily similar to what it was at 60 feet 6 inches.
One of the players said that when they were told about the rule change, whoever the representative was said to the pitchers, you won't have to change much about what you do, just a foot moving back. And then the next thing out of that person's mouth was, well, you might have to change where you release the ball. And the pitchers were like, what are you talking about? That's everything we do. But we'll see. We'll see long term,
Yeah.
and that's why you experiment, and that's why Major League Baseball is tinkering with this to see what sticks. And I give them credit for that, for sure.
Dillon is trying for a strikeout here, which is something he would desperately need. He struck out Alcantara back in the 3rd inning. The runner at second, nobody out. It's almost like pitching the first inning of extra innings, where you got a guy standing at second base. You got to try however you can to stop him from scoring.
1-2. Another foul ball on a slider.
Well, you wear a front shin guard to help you with these. But apparently it doesn't help that much. Maybe saves a break, but doesn't save the pain.
Looked like it might have gotten him right around the very edge of that shin guard. Rivas at second, 1-2 for Alcantara. Another foul ball on a fastball at 99.
Hey, White Sox fans, Xfinity Mobile delivers fast nationwide 5G on the most reliable network. Excuse me. So break free from the big three and save with Xfinity Mobile.
You're right there, buddy?
Yes, I believe I'm going to make it. Perhaps.
We're rooting for you.
Let's see if Dylan can wipe out Alcantara, who's been pretty stubborn in this at bat.
1-2. Struck him out. 98 to the corner.
This is what Dylan's been looking for this entire at bat. Good movement away. And he swung under it. Dylan's already at 84 pitches, so unless he gets the final 2 outs in this inning rather quickly, probably is going to be the need to cover 12 outs out of the bullpen.
Yesterday, Ruiz and Wright threw 2 each, so it's a pretty well-rested pen.
And the off day tomorrow.
Yeah, it was funny. You should say that.
Simultaneous off day.
Ball 1 to Ortega, who's 0 for 2. Boston and Cleveland still have not started. They are 2.5 hours late at this point. Tom Hamilton is regaling the press folks with stories.
I'm sure he's one of the happier men at the ballpark.
That was my other option of what to say he was doing,
Yeah.
but I figured you might go there. 1-1. Got a strike on the corner again. Perfect placement. 1-2.
This one has a good portion of the outside corner. Well received by Yasmani Grandal. Did a nice job. He didn't yank it over. He just kind of eased it over. And the good catchers will tell you it's a movement of the wrist as opposed to bringing the whole glove into the zone.
Strike 3 on a slider. So for Dylan Cease, the last 5 outs in the game have been strikeouts.
We'll watch it again. This is perfect because this looked like a strike in the middle of the zone for a long time. And then it just dipped out of the zone and Ortega had no chance. Swinging over the top of that one.
Ball 1-2, strike call.
He was crossed up because Yasmani did a really good job of just self-defense. He was looking for a slider. Dylan went with the fastball, and watch the reaction of Grandal. He's looking for the break, and then, no break.
Yeah, I saw Yasmani react.
Yeah.
I thought that ball was headed to the dirt.
Perfectly in the zone. However, when you're looking slider and a guy throws 98, I don't care how good you are, you're just battling to knock it down and save your own life.
He was on the way to block a ball that was straight down the middle.
Right. That's not a good feeling. Of course, when I caught, the kids were throwing it 58 miles an hour. It was in Little League.
But from a shorter distance, so it looked like 70, 71.
It looked like 58.
It's inside, ball to strike.
I just knew getting hit with foul balls off the shoulder and the top of the foot, occasionally on the top of the head when it hit the backstop and came down. I thought there was a better way to do this game.
Yeah, you were one of the smart kids. 2-1.
It's number 92 on the way to Schwindel.
Got the corner or thereabouts. 2-2.
That one fairly generous. Schwindel knows that it was just off the outside corner. Sean Barber thought it was good enough. 99, just off the black. What's a good setup now? It's a good setup for that slider in the same spot, just off the plate. Schwindel won't be able to take it because he doesn't know how far that corner goes out.
2-2. That came inside and a chopper foul.
He tied him up inside. It was inside off the plate. Don't have a hard time working up a sweat today.
No, it's called getting out of your car.
That's about it.
Two and two down. Strike three, high slider. 3 strikeouts in the fourth. How about 3 more in the fifth, Steve?
He's got it working, and he's got big velocity today, and that slider is not exactly where he wants it every time, but the movement is so good that he strikes out guys like Schwindel.
Some American Sale fun at home. Great series, Sox and Cubs 1-1 so far as the Sox will try to win the series, leading 3-1 here in the fifth. Cubs have made some defensive changes. Andrew Romine is in for Sergio Alcantara after a strikeout and that foul ball off his leg.
Yeah, I think they probably want to take a look at that, or at least put some ice on it, make sure that, number one, he didn't do anything more than a bad bruise, and number two, stop some swelling.
Lasered foul left side from Vaughn, 1-2. Andrew singled and scored in the second. It was a 2-out base hit on a 3-2 pitch against Hendricks.
Yeah, it turned out to be a big hit because it kept the inning alive for Brian Goodwin, who just flipped an opposite field 2-run homer.
Left field side and a half.
Time now for the momentum changer presented by First Midwest Bank. We foreshadowed it, and there it is. Opposite field, just barely enough, 351 feet, but that's all it took with that very heavy wind blowing to left and left center field.
And that's the lead. Now, Alec Mills threw 8 1/3 last night. Hendricks only 54 pitches through 4 1/3. He's on track for a long one, too, today. Strike called. Brian Goodwin's another one of those guys that has joined up with the Sox and has felt like, and he said this, it's, if not the best, very much at the top of the list of the best clubhouses he has played with in his major league career. And you've got to believe that has effect on people's results.
Especially as you move down later in the season. I mean, in spring training, everybody gets along. Everyone is everyone's best friend. It's, hey, getting to know you. You came over from another team. You're a wonderful guy and all that stuff. Then you go through injuries and all the things you go through in a season, and maybe you're not feeling good a couple days, and a guy comes up and he pulls your nose or something along those lines. You say, you know what, I don't like you very much. So if you have a good clubhouse, it really helps in the late going of a season, whether you're winning or losing. I mean, it just helps bring everybody together. And it really helps that they're all rooting for one another, which is what these guys do.
After the 3-2, I have a question for you.
Yeah, that wasn't. That was more an approximation than actual technical.
You thought maybe you went and played in the clubhouse with the Three Stooges. They were walking around pulling your nose.
Yeah, Mo couldn't play short at all.
Here's a preview of what's coming up on Subaru White Sox postgame live. Chuck and Ozzy, take it. Yeah, that's fine. I'm in. You in?
I think that we could use one or two more. That was really a good job of laying off that first pitch, because Hendricks depends on getting you out of the strike zone. His stuff is not overwhelming. He just uses it almost perfectly. And instead of the 17 inches, he's really using a 21-inch plate. He will go outside off the plate, inside off the plate, and try to entice you to swing.
Runner goes, ground ball, second base. Duffy. Goodwin was on the move. 2 down. Hey, play the 50-50 raffle for your chance to win and support Ronald McDonald House Charities in their mission of enabling families to stay close to their hospitalized children. Sox Split presented by Wintrust on sale now until the end of the 7th inning. Get your Split the Pot 50-50 ticket at whitesox.com/SoxSplit. Valid for Illinois residents 18 and over. Ronald McDonald House Charities do magnificent things for families who are having some of their worst days. So if you want to play, you feel lucky, please do so. whitesox.com/SoxSplit. Sox would love to get Goodwin home with 2 out here. Two and 0.
Well, look, if you're Cesar here, is Ryan Tepera loosening up? I think he's probably going to come in. But if you're Hernandez, you're looking at something probably middle away. And it's either going to be a fastball or that straight change. You would think. He doesn't want to get to Robert, who's in the on-deck circle. There is a straight change, but he couldn't get it middle away. So now he's in a 3-0 hole.
Robert crushed a ball in the first inning. Ball 4. 2 walks in the inning for Kyle Hendricks, very rare.
And while he's doing something that he very rarely does, we'll see if the Sox can take advantage of it. Here comes Tommy Hotovy, who not yesterday because Alec Mills had a wonderful day. But after the game, while all the pitchers were icing their arm on Friday night, Tommy Hotovy was icing his legs. He made that many trips to the mound. Time now for the T-Mobile coverage cam. It's the second hitter of the ball game. And it is a 2-0 fastball that left the yard, giving the Sox at the time a 1-0 lead.
Trying to add to that lead here, as the official word on Alcantara is a right ankle bruise. Romine in at shortstop. Cubs have 2 on the bench now. Well, Robert loves to swing at the first pitch. He loves to air it out. After the mound meeting, we'll see what Hendricks does if he can find a corner. But if this is middle of the plate, he could be in big trouble.
Well, Luis is one of the guys that doesn't like to wait around too long. Occasionally he will work a count if it's well out of the zone. More times than not, if it's close on the first pitch. That's the pitch he really likes.
Tilted at a high sinker, strike 1. He hit him.
Well, there's no way in the world that he wanted to hit him with Abreu coming up next, and what Abreu has done to the Cubs and notably to Hendricks. So Luis will wind up aboard. He's trying to throw him inside. You see where Romine is sitting. He just catches him in the thigh. He's going to be okay with that. And he'll go to first base, which loads him up.
Hendricks now has tied a career high with 9 hit batters this year.
He's just realizing that you have to go inside. You don't go inside, it doesn't open up the outside corner to any breaking pitch or changeup.
Abreu gives it a ride. Center field, Ortega twisting in the wind, and it bounces up and over the top. Abreu got it by him, and the Sox get a couple. That ball was pounded to center field.
The toughest ball for any center fielder to handle is one that's hit on a line straight over his head. Any center fielder will tell you the same thing, and that one went out like a knuckleball. It was hit so hard that there's no way that Ortega could get a great read on it. It's a low fastball, and Jose goes over the century mark and runs batted in, and everybody gets a 40-year warning.
Sox double brought to you by Elgin Hyundai. Home double warranty, 20 years, 200,000 miles, 200,000 miles on every new Hyundai. See ElginHyundai.com for details. With MVP ringing through the stadium, Abreu socks a ball to center. 101 for Abreu. And now Eloy Jimenez, who coming into this inning had the hardest hit ball of the ball game. He just got eclipsed by Abreu's 107-mile-an-hour deal.
Yeah, sometimes when you hit the ball, you hit it right on a seam, it actually goes out and looks like a knuckleball. That one was moving every which way, and as Ortega went back to try to measure it, at the end it was just hit too hard. The only bad luck was it bounced out of the ballpark, because it's another run if it stays in the park.
To right field, Hayward back. Eloy Jimenez continues to torture Cub pitching. And Cub fans.
Well, the boys in the studio said they could use some more runs. So more runs it is. In fact, 5 more runs. Eloy Jimenez has so much power that he doesn't really have to put a charge into it. He just flicked it the other way, and even into the wind, it went out of the ballpark. So David Ross comes out, taking his ace out of the ball game after giving up 8 big ones here today. And the Sox not taking anything for granted. They remember Friday night, but it's a pretty good 8-1 lead at this point. So as Hendricks walks out, we'll step out, but we'll be back. Is out away from Eloy, and he just goes that way. He's got such big power. It's a 3-run homer that didn't go far, but it went far enough to knock Hendricks out of the ball game. This one into the bullpen. Kyle Hendricks with a tough day today on a steamy day in Chicago, and the boys pouring it on. That was the 8th for Eloy. He's driven in 30 runs. And our Lakeside Bank call to the pen is Adam Morgan. On for the 25th time, his ERA an even 3, which is pretty good. A lot of strikeouts, only 18 walks. 8 walks in 18 innings. You look at the numbers, left-handers haven't touched him. Right-handers have done a good job against him.
He'll face Jake Lamb first. And he misses with a sinker. 1-0. Just explosive, volatile innings all series long. And that was not explosive nor volatile, but it's a base hit. Great bocce shot.
It was effective, especially when they're in a radical shift against you to the pull side. Jake probably doesn't intend to do this. Literally hits it off the very end of the bat, and as it squids that way, Wisdom, who was playing straightaway shortstop, just gets it back. And Morgan will have to face a right-hander in a switch hitting Grandal from the right side.
9th batter of the inning for the Sox. Now remember, everybody, there was 1 on with 2 out and nobody in.
It's been that kind of a series, and it really points up how well Alec Mills pitched, because this is a Sox team that put 17 on the board Friday night, 8 so far today, and last night, nothing.
Yasmani launches right field. This is out of here. Good to see 24 back in the lineup.
Good to see the power from both sides of the plate. That's home run number 17, his 3rd since coming back. Of course, he's played in only 3 games. Ford home run replay, gets a high fastball. We told you Morgan had problems with right-handers. Now he has more of them. Ford home run replay is getting a workout today.
I know there was a 0 on the board yesterday, but the Sox offensive tea kettle is starting to make a sound.
There's a lot of thunder in this lineup as it was designed originally. We haven't seen it put back together again. We're just starting to see it on a daily basis.
Vaughn smashes this ball, and Wisdom takes a hit from him.
Wisdom's playing like Brooks Robinson or Nolan Arenado.
Or both combined.
Or Matt Chapman. Or anybody else you can think of who can really pick it at third.
You like home runs?
I love home runs.
How about a double first?
I'll take a double.
Okay.
Driving in 2, giving you 101, then I'll take that home run. Driving in 3, giving him 8.
Home runs everywhere. Eloy loves doing it against the Cubs. Yasmani Grandal got some muscle too. How about this? 10-1 suddenly. First pitch, strike from Dylan Cease to Ian Happ. Sixth inning brought to you by Mike's Hard Lemonade Seltzer. Check swing grounder, that's foul. 0-2 on Happ, who struck out twice against Cease.
Dylan's climbing ever closer to the 100 mark. I think he's probably out there until he gets a man on, and then Tony will most likely go to the pen. And I'm sure he talked to Dylan. Do you want to go back out there? He probably said sure.
But what pitcher says no to that?
It depends. Depends what time of the season it's in. Depends how he's feeling.
You think somebody really say no? No, I don't want the ball.
I've had the manager come out to the mound and he said, "Can you get this guy?" And I told him no.
But you're a truth seeker.
I just wanted to win the game, and I knew that that guy warming up in the bullpen was probably better suited than I was, in this case, to get out Cecil Cooper, a star for the Milwaukee Brewers at the time, who hit 5 home runs off me in 2 years.
Well, you just didn't want to give up another home run.
I said, bring in Tippy. Got him out on 2 pitches.
3-2. Good job by Tippy.
It was. He was pretty good.
Payoff pitch. Strike 3. Last 7 outs for Cease have been strikeouts.
And he's got 10 of them. Double figures once again for Dylan Cease. We truly are watching a guy who is destined for stardom. It's always a caveat if he stays healthy, but if this guy stays healthy, that stuff is going to play against even the best of ball clubs. And you see, 7 times, 10+ strikeouts in a game. That is really impressive.
Now he just busted people in with fastballs. The whiff rate has climbed so dramatically this year.
Well, that's pretty much hand in hand with the maturation process of a young pitcher as he starts to harness the stuff that he has. And Dylan's stuff is overwhelming when he's throwing it near the zone.
By the way, Boston and Cleveland, a bunch of happy campers and dugouts there. They still haven't started.
But it's early yet. I mean, you're talking about it's only 4 o'clock. You got plenty of time.
Oh, yeah. Just missed 2-1. The Red Sox are going to Tampa Bay. Cleveland said, we'll wait around as long as you want. They're off tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't believe Boston would want to interrupt either a homestand or a road trip to come back to Cleveland to play 1 game, because whether that matters to Cleveland or not remains to be seen, but it will matter to Boston. They're going to have to get that game in, so that's why they're going to wait.
Diving fastball, 3-2. 105 pitches for Dylan Cease. Right field. Goodwin on the move, and this is foul just wide of the line. Wisdom can't believe it.
Yeah, he thought it's a 2-base hit. But Dan Bellino showed good mobility by following that one down the line. He was on it step for step. You saw it when it landed. Want to know what the count is?
It's close.
And now they want him to take a look at it. David Ross with really nothing to lose at this point. He can take a look. That's a foul ball. But again, with nothing to lose, might as well take a look. Maybe they'll say it caught a corner.
You get that overturned. They have high-powered NASA microscopes. Wisdom can't believe it.
No, he's apoplectic.
He is.
And beside himself. And he's aghast.
And Agog. On to the headset. Larry Vann over the crew chief. Dan Bellino, who had the call. We got Let It Be playing over the loudspeaker. We got Tim Anderson talking in the dugout.
We got the ball in suspended animation on the scoreboard.
Wisdom, I believe, if I'm reading lips correctly, just said, I don't know, maybe, which is a good reason to challenge.
And you're talking about the 6th inning. And
foul.
Come on back and hit again. That's the end result.
All right, so 3-2. You don't see that challenge much. Foul ball, fair ball down the line.
No, but again, you're talking about the 6th inning. He maybe figures with 1 out, a big rally is on the horizon.
Three and two. Slider, strike 3. And Dylan Cease, who normally is stoic, just gave a little.
Well, look, Wisdom's had a great series, and that one caught the bottom part of the zone. Good call by Sean Barber that time. Wisdom can't believe it, but it comes over the front part of the plate, a strike.
Getting Dylan Cease to fist pump and strut like that is like getting Marcus Aurelius to yell at you. I mean, it doesn't happen much.
Or Marcel Marceau to yell at you.
That's a good one, too. That ball sliced to right center. Long run, but Roberts on the case. Sox are up big, and Dylan's feeling mighty fine. By the way, Gordon's going to be so happy. MLB Ballpark app gives you the best experience at Guaranteed Rate Field. Buy and manage game tickets, redeem check-in offers, order your favorite food and beverages, access exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today.
Dylan Cease comes off, and the fans in the ballpark, certainly behind the dugout, giving him a standing ovation. They realize that this is a special talent. He has got great stuff. He fanned 11, walked only 2, gave up just 4 hits, 1 run in 6 innings on a very hot, humid, sticky day. He went against the ace of the Cubs, Kyle Hendricks, and he threw very well. Held down Wisdom, which in itself in this series has been problematic for the boys.
I mean, 4 homers first 2 games for Wisdom. Dylan Cease was a strikeout machine again.
It was very impressive. And that's what he's been looking like. The last 10 starts, no more than 3 earned runs in any of them.
Oh, 2 on Goodwin. That number you just gave dates back to '10 starts. That's a couple of months for Dylan Cease. I mean, you think about what he's done in his career in terms of strikeouts over the course of this season, the numbers have grown exponentially.
He's just learning how to use that great bag of stuff that he was given. You could always see it. It was always there. He just didn't know how to use it. He knows how to use it now.
It was July the 5th at Target Field. He gave up 6 earned runs. Remember that he hit Alex Kirilloff, gave up a couple of runs in his final inning in the 6th inning. 6 earned runs that day. Since then, his ERA's dropped from 4.14 to today when he just dodged bats all afternoon long. Strike 3.
Today's game is brought to you by Marquette Bank. Since 1945, Marquette Bank has worked to improve the lives of neighbors, families, and business owners. They're a modern neighborhood bank with online banking, mobile banking, and digital home financing. Better than that, they're a bank that cares about your success in our community. So discover neighborhood banking that feels good at emarquettebank.com.
A lot of happy Sox fans, up 10-1. Time call, and that's going to be all, I believe, for Morgan, who's faced now 4 batters. And so the familiar song plays again. The Sox holding 10 runs in the 6th inning. To 50% on a patio party to select games to wrap up the regular season. Enjoy a 2-hour all-you-can-eat buffet along with unlimited beer, wine, and Coca-Cola products. For more information, visit whitesox.com/flash sale. It's a debut.
Lakeside Bank called to the pen is Scott F. Ross. AAA this year. He appeared in 23 games. He's a side wheeler. He had a pretty good run at it. 46 strikeouts in 42 innings, only 10 walks. So he does get the ball over the plate. And what he's going to have to establish is, can he get out left-handers? Because that motion is designed to get out right-handers.
He's the 63rd Cub this year.
For the most part, it not is always the case. But for the most part, when that happens, you're not having a great year.
Well, you've had a portion of a great year, and the rest of it has not been very good.
And you've had a lot of injuries.
That is a Cub record, breaking the number that was 8 years ago. 63 Cub players, and this one, Scott F. Ross, led his manager David Ross to say, we wanted him to come up from AAA Iowa because now if people yell at me, I won't know if they're actually yelling at me or if they're saying the pitcher's last name. Good for David. A little levity goes a long way. Oh, 0-2 from Efros. Fouled away.
Well, for our ball club, going through the rebuild that we've been through, you can really relate to what David Ross is going through and probably going to have to go through for a bit. And a little patience and a good sense of humor will get you a long way. But it's still not easy when you're going through it. You just have to hope that eventually the light at the end of the tunnel is a lineup that can win a lot of games, and I think you're seeing it with the Sox lineup. This is a product of all of that rebuilding, assembling of talent, letting guys mature, come to the major leagues as one, and it's a pretty good ball club. Ross, yeah, he almost wound up in Sox dugout.
That was quite the dance lesson.
I think you try to get a little extra on that. We'll watch it again as he delivers, and yikes.
Like the time I tried curling.
Give him credit, though. He stayed upright.
stones are heavy. 2-2. Down the left field line. Just foul. Maybe challenge it.
No, I think Larry Vanover is right there to make the play. We'll take another look at it. Line drive. It is slicing, slicing, slicing. Yes, foul.
You sure?
Slicing, foul. Not by much.
Two and two. Hit him. Well, Leori took lessons from Jose Abreu. He just bolted down to first.
He's trying to get that inside on him, and it did, but it got first the padded up elbow, then some of the body. He decided he'll run it off.
Wonder how many pitchers' first batter faced in their career was a hit by pitch.
You'll always remember the ribs of Leary.
Or maybe Cesar.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about as far as his ability to handle left-hand hitters, because that motion is designed to get out right-hand hitters, and for the most part, not all the submariners or side armors, but for the most part, you're showing the ball to the hitter the entire way. He's seen it right out of your hand, and it's a little bit more difficult, as I'm sure he found in the minor leagues, but especially up here.
Efros is an Indiana University product. Bloomington Hoosiers out of Twinsburg, Ohio. You've been to Twinsburg?
Right down the road from the fabled Kent State University.
So you've been?
No, just right down the road.
Change up for a strike, 1-1.
I've been through Twinsburg, though.
You have?
Freeway goes through it, yeah.
You know, I think that changeup that came up, changeup last pitch was actually his sinker, but sometimes StatCast, when a guy's making his debut, it takes a little while to calibrate.
Yeah, he's not throwing a 90-mile-an-hour changeup. I can pretty much guarantee that.
I'm Ron Burgundy. I just read whatever's on the screen. Unique New York. 2-2 on Hernandez. Garcia at second, 1 out. And by the way, while the Cubs are going through what they're going through with the rebuild going on, you know, if you're a baseball fan, you want to stop by our telecast and say hello every once in a while. We welcome you with open arms.
Not a bad idea at all. It's a pretty exciting team to watch.
You've played on both sides of town.
I have. There's a few of us who suggested building a club for us.
I still think so. I rethought it. I thought maybe a treehouse. Last player to hit the first batter he faced in his debut was Jason Foley with the Tigers against the Sox earlier this year. Strike three. First strikeout for Efros.
Got a consumer problem you can't fix? Stop getting the runaround. I can't read this one. Stop getting the runaround and get the help you deserve. Contact Lisa Parker and NBC5 Responds. They're here to help, answering every call and every email.
What's amazing is that was not an ad lib. It says on the promo I'm reading, I can't read this one.
I have no idea why.
Why would they put that in there?
I'm going to take it home with me in the wintertime. Today I got consumer right.
You did.
Missed that last night. Couldn't get the rest of it quite right.
You said it last night. There are some batters you just can't get out. There are some promos.
They're unreadable. Don't know why.
2. Super Joe was well up the line over there, so he lets it go by. He's on the guaranteed rate logo.
Well, a couple things come into play. Number one, you've got a guy that if he pulls the ball, he doesn't want to hit him in back. And number two, he wants to get in line of sight. And if Leary is going to score, he's got to follow him all the way around.
Check swing. Dan, the appeal man, says no. 1-2.
A lot of appeals today.
Yeah, he's got a heavy docket over there at first.
Nope, didn't swing.
Two and two. Want to check with Dan? Sounds like the beginning of a commercial for his law practice. Got Better Call Saul and want to check with Dan. Garcia at second. 2-2. He came in against Robert.
Well, I think you have to do that, especially if you're a side wheeler, but you want to come in off the plate because that sets up how you really want to get the right-handers out, and that's away.
Hey, guess what? Boston and Cleveland have started.
I am delighted.
First batter of the game. Just 3 hours late. Robert a drive, left field. Luis Robert does it one more time. Oh, you said the power was coming. In spades today, a dozen for the Sox.
He has got tremendous power because he didn't get, I bet you he got 50% of that ball. That's a slider away. He reaches out, or Ford home run replay. He's got a pretty good idea it's going out of the park. And out of the park it sails. It's his second career multi-homer game, and he's in the infancy stages of what should be a remarkable career.
Remember when he got hurt? There were a lot of Sox fans saying, okay, Eloy's out, Robert's hurt. Who knows what this season's going to look like?
I mean, you're taking, by my estimation, 70 home runs out of this lineup. You bring them both back, and all of a sudden you look at the lineup. When Tim plays at the top, Jose hitting like he's hitting, Grandal back. This is a lineup that is fearsome.
Fourth home run against the Cubs already in Luis Roberts' career. Jose Abreu. Just short. It's close. That was a smile from earlier maybe on that Cub fan's face. Great day at the old ballpark. That's the only time you'll see the Cubs outrun the Sox today.
Time now for the Xfinity Mobile high-speed action. And Dylan Cease was just brilliant. 6 innings of work, gave up only 4 hits, the 1 earned run, walked a couple, and fanned 11. That's 7 times with 10 or more strikeouts in a game for Dylan Cease. That's mighty impressive. And they were everywhere. They were up and in. They were low. They were up and away. They were really low. They were all over as Ryan Tepera comes in.
You're a great compass, man.
And low and somewhat low. Marginally low.
Lo and behold.
But he's got a good four-seamer that he likes to throw upstairs.
Slider's good too. Really good. Yasmani. Right on the arrow. 7th inning brought to you by the Illinois Department of Transportation. To my eyes, I wonder what your opinion is on this, but Yasmani looks no worse for the wear, and to me, very good behind the plate in these first 2 games.
Yeah, he's really done a nice job. He threw out the one base stealer, tried to steal a bag against him. And I think he's starting to get, and this is important because he was out for a long time, I think he's starting to get a better feel for the arsenal of his starting pitchers. So it certainly helps when you can do that. It also helps when you can hit the ball out of the park from either side of the plate. And we have seen him be able to do that.
Well struck, but right at Goodwin. Join us Sunday, September 12th. Sox take on the Red Sox, 1:10 p.m. First 15,000 fans receive a Los White Sox jersey presented by Coca-Cola. Grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola and enjoy the game. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/promos. And the Red Sox are helping out already. Rafael Devers homered off of Eli Morgan. And it's 1-0 Boston after a half inning in Cleveland.
Go Red Sox.
Until a couple weeks from now. They
Yes.
go away, Red Sox.
That should be a wonderful series, and that's after Pittsburgh, the 2 against Pittsburgh, the off day tomorrow. Pirates come in for 2. The next time you'll get a chance to see the Sox here, we'll be looking at a very good Red Sox team.
And a very interesting Angels team after that. Rivas 2 for 2, former Arizona Wildcat, like Sox analytics guy Shelley Duncan in the dugout.
Terry Francona. He was one of those Wildcats.
87 Arizona Wildcats have made it to Major League Baseball.
I think Ian Kinsler was another one of those Wildcats.
Good call.
A lot of ASU players. Dustin Pedroia was an ASU player. Of course, from years back, Reggie Jackson, Rick Monday. They had some really good teams.
Barry Bonds, right? Barry Bonds?
Barry Bonds, yes, indeed. And even longer, integral part of that 72, 3, and 4 dynasty that was the Oakland A's, Sal Banda.
2-2. Arizona Wildcat fans love nothing more than when discussion of their school segues into Arizona State talk. Love it.
Just paying homage to the great state of Kansas.
Your off-season home state. You gotta play it down the middle. Foul first base side. Two and two on Rivas. Scouting report says very good young first baseman, Rivas. Good hitter so far, 2 for 2.
Let's see how he handles its pair slider.
2-2. Robert in center on the run, and Luis does track it down and make a friend. That was a nice one-timer, by the way, from Luis up into the crowd after the catch, and a great rundown of that ball.
If it stays in the ballpark, there's a very good chance 88 is going to catch it. And catch it he did on a ball slicing away in the gap. A 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Tepera.
Eloy Jimenez blasted off against the Cubs. That's his 6th home run in 13 games against his former team.
Really been amazing because you always bear down against a team that traded you away, but Eloy is fashioning it into an art form.
First pitch to him in the 7th, a strike.
Got a new pitcher. It's Rowan Wick. He's got a chance to be a big part of the bullpen for the Cubs. They really like what he can do. He's on for the 7th time. ERA touch over 3. And looking ahead, that's what all these guys are doing. I mean, this is an audition for next year. Michael Hermosillo checks over in right field.
Strike 3 for Wick, who hadn't pitched since Wednesday. Time for a message for Powering Chicago.
Do you have electrical work you need done at your home or business? Visit poweringchicago.com and click the Find a Contractor button. On time, on budget, done the right way every time. Powering Chicago, IBEW Local 134, NECA, Chicago.
He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. Sox are up 12-1 in the 7th. You know today's an anniversary in baseball?
I do. Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that since you know.
I still feel it leaving my hand.
It was a 71-degree day in lovely Cleveland.
Actually, it was nighttime. We were a game of the week, kind of an evening game of the week, and he gave up 3 home runs. One of them to the noted home run hitter Dwayne Kuiper, who, by the way, when he was young, had a tremendous amount of power.
He did.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
You get him one of those tees when he was like 2 years old.
He had great power up until he reached the age of reason. Then he hit 1 home run, and that was against me, and it was on this day.
That's not what I was going to ask you about. That was not the anniversary.
That is.
No, I'm kidding.
Yes, it is.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you about.
Yes, absolutely. But there's a story behind that. There's 2 of them. One I won't tell you, but one I will.
Okay.
Okay. Let's wait to see what happens here.
It's a ball.
Okay, so it would be one thing to give up a hitter's only home run in 3,300 at bats, whatever it was. But he came to Baltimore another time, and the fence met a high green wall in left center and right center, and there was a yellow line that if it hit to the left side of the yellow line, it was a home run. The right side, the ball most likely would carry him back into play, and it was whatever it was. He hit a long fly ball to right center field that literally hit 1 inch on the right side of that yellow line. Imagine giving up a guy's only 2 major league home runs, and he came within an inch of doing that. And by the way, we'd like to wish Dwayne a speedy recovery. And I know the fans in San Francisco, all Giant fans, and everybody who likes good broadcasting, Dwayne Kuiper and Mike Krukow, John Miller, they're some of the best.
Into right for Yaz. 2 on for the Sox in the 1st inning. Yeah, Kruk and Kuip together, marvelous, great people too.
Yeah, they're just a team that's been together forever. Dwayne is going through a pretty good health battle right now. I know he's got everyone in this country who loves wonderful broadcasting, and Dwayne has become one of those. I think is rooting for him to get back. Unfortunately, this year, not only Dwayne Kuiper, there's been a lot of problems for broadcasters as far as cancer is concerned, and we wish all of them well, speedy recovery, get back to the booth, because, you know, guys like Jerry Remy, guys who are beloved in the cities they broadcast, a lot of them having some difficulties.
If you haven't seen it, the video of Dwayne Kuiper coming back and surprising Mike Krukow.
Yeah, that one will tear you up a bit.
It was a beautiful thing, kind of home run to call that night. It will give you chills. Now, I would say, to bring a little levity here, I would say if that ball left in Baltimore, maybe you would have given him the confidence to hit 3 or more, 4, 5, 6 home runs in his career.
Later on, when he was still playing, I was broadcasting. Frank Robinson was the manager of the Giants. And they came in. Well, the Cubs were playing them, and I remember going into Frank's office, and I said, "Let me ask you a question, seriously, in all sincerity. Will Dwayne Kuiper ever hit another home run? Because I've given up the only one he's hit." And Frank said, Not a chance. I said, how about at Wrigley Field with the wind blowing out like 60 miles an hour? He goes, not if he was standing on second base. He will never hit another home run. Of course, Frank was a very good hitter in his own right, and he proved prophetic.
He was very right. Yeah. Tommy Hotovy, line one. Tommy Hotovy, line one.
Telling you, got to put ice on those hamstrings. He's been up and down like a jack-in-the-box.
Attendance today, 38,565, Steve. And that means for the series, 115,125. And I don't want to put the cart before the horse. It's a 10-game lead with about a month left. This place is going to be absolutely insane in October.
You'd love to see it because the ball club certainly feeds off that. Watch the White Sox wherever your summer takes you. Download the My Teams app to stream games, read articles, listen to White Sox Talk podcast, and more. Scan the QR code to download the My Teams app today. See, I can read those. I mean, there's some that just flow. And there's others that I just flush.
I don't like rhetorical questions in promos. I think that can confound you. Like, got a problem? Yeah, I do, with your rhetorical question you wrote.
No. We're going to jump on that.
We will. So, first time in 4 years, every Sox starter has scored a run, and why not get a couple more? Ball one. Wick has lost the thread of the strike zone.
If you haven't been out there in a while, that can happen.
At it, 1-1.
Ryan had one of the big hits of the game. 2-run homer in the second inning. And for the longest time, that turned out to be the margin that the Sox held.
Then the 7-run fifth. That's called a strike by Barber. He's had a very good day behind the plate. That was a miss. Right side, Duffy and Romine, and that will be that. Sox get another run on an RBI from Brian Goodwin. Lamb scores, Grandal to third, and it's 13-1. So Tampa Bay scored 12 today. Texas has 13 in the top of the sixth against Houston. 13-2. That 6 earned runs off of Zach Greinke, by the way.
Dog days of August, that can happen.
So you get in the tunnel with your own team and you see 7-0 loss to the Cubs and you go, what is going on? You start throwing a thing or two, and then you look at the scoreboard. Next day, the Rangers, who don't beat anybody right now, are up 13-2 on the Astros. Stuff happens.
Well, look, even the real good pitchers in a most extraordinary year, and it's extraordinary because it's 162 games coming on the heels of a 60-game season. Guys get tired. Pitchers, a little bit like racehorses. I always said that racehorses pretty much race sore most all the time after their 2-year-old year, their 2-year-old season. Same thing with pitchers.
Look to left. You talk to racehorses who told you that?
Yeah.
They just say, I'm hurt all the time.
I just usually bet on them.
Lovely day at the ballpark. Or for a race. Curcio Auto Group. Sox are up big, and here is why. Luis Robert, a home run. Which one, some of you might say, if you've been with us the whole time? It's the one from the first inning.
It's been quite a day, and Brian Goodwin decides to go the opposite way. Hendricks still in the game at this point. adding to the lead.
Knuckle sandwich for Ortega in center. Tough run on that ball that just kept swirling on him. And then Eloy did it one more time.
Yeah, it looked like Hendricks got one up and out over the plate, and that was the last pitch he threw. But the Sox weren't done. Yasmani, opposite ways. Third home run in the series.
And there is the aforementioned second home run for Robert. Ball was drilled, and it was not even as solidly hit as he can. And for Grandal, by the way, 11 home runs in the last 29 games, dating back before the injury.
Michael Kopech comes into this on for the 33rd time. ERA of .355, 70 Ks, and 50 2/3.
Eighth inning brought to you by the Illinois Lottery. Michael had that rough outing in Toronto.
That's why it'll be interesting to see how he comes back in this.
Buzzed a fastball in there to Romine, who's in for the injured Alcantara, who fouled a ball off his ankle and ended up with a bruise. Do you know what else happened that day of the Dwayne Kuiper home run in 1977?
They gave up one to Andre Thornton and Bruce Bochy, but who can remember back that far?
Not that.
Oh, what?
But that happened too. Lou Brock stole his 893rd bag, breaking Ty Cobb's record that very day. There's the Michael Kopech fastball that misses bats, 2-2. To me, no reason to be alarmed about 1 or 2 outings from Michael Kopech. This stuff is lethal.
No, he's going to be fine. And total of 14 innings since 2018. I mean, this is a full season for him, and guys do have problems at times. And didn't have a problem there at 100 miles an hour upstairs. We'll take another look at it. And most pitchers will tell you, maybe not the age of Michael Kopech, but as you move along in this game, it gets late in the season, sometimes middle of the season, depending on how long you've been around and how many pitches you've thrown. You're going to pitch with some degree of soreness each and every time. And that's just what happens if you're a pitcher, because the arm wasn't made to pitch. Actually, it was made to bowl. It was made to do anything you do underhand, but coming straight over the top, it's a lot of strain on the arm, and you just have to deal with it. That's one of the things that most pitchers just don't talk about at all. And
Every time?
Well, for me it was, and I can't believe I was the only guy around that experienced that. So it's just something that you deal with, and depends on, for me it was sometimes when I got to out of spring training, everything was good. You get to about 10 starts, suddenly you start taking a few aspirins. Sometimes you start taking them every 4 innings. Sometimes as the season moves along, you start taking 2 every 2 innings. You do whatever you can, and now I'm sure there's other things, but you do whatever you can to get that soreness out, so you can go out there, and then you worry about it if you're a starting pitcher 5 days later. But that's why I say it's like racehorses. Racehorses always race sore after they get to a certain age, and pitchers, they just have some degree of soreness, and it depends on how you choose to deal with it.
Left field, Eloy Jimenez can't make the play on the slide. Ortega's into second base.
I just hate to see that. It's a 13-1 game. You just got to stay on your feet. If the ball falls, it falls. I understand that that's his competitive nature, but he actually overruns the ball.
Well, that message has been conveyed.
I'm sure it has, and for some reason you lose sight of that fact. And in order for this team to go as far as they can go, number 74 has got to be healthy, and he's going to be healthy if he stays on his feet.
Yeah, I know he's highly competitive and wants to prove that he can play left field. I know that, and that's the instinct, but your heart ends up in your throat every time he slides.
Every time he hits the turf, it's not a good thing until he gets up.
'98 past a bat of Schwindel, 1-1. Short center. Hernandez. 2 away in the 8th. Tuesday coming up, August 31st. White Sox and Pirates, 7:10 p.m. First 10,000 fans take home a Change the Game t-shirt. For tickets, visit whitesox.com/promos. And a half.
That is the original hard slider. It's 88 miles an hour, biting down and in. Now we've seen Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard, who says he's going to come back without throwing breaking pitches, just fastballs. I don't know how long that's going to last, but deGrom's was in the neighborhood of 91 miles an hour. It's truly an unhittable pitch if you get it near the zone.
Speaking of the Mets, by the way, Noah Syndergaard was supposed to make a rehab start today, and he tested COVID positive.
That'll get in the way of your rehab.
Get in the way of a lot of things. Two and 0, fouled away, 2-1. Napster's looking for contact with 3 strikeouts. Two and 1. 2-2.
Boston has increased their lead to 2-0.
Bobby Dahlbeck, a home run.
He was supposed to be in line to have a really good year. After what he looked like last year, it hasn't worked out quite as well as he would like for this point.
Time called. Two. He struck him out with that slider. That is an evil pitch from Michael Kopech. Bottom 8. Sox winning the fight 13-1.
A much needed off day tomorrow, and then Pittsburgh comes to town for 2 games. Then another off day on Thursday, and it's off to Kansas City with an off day Monday to travel to Oakland. Then we come home for a homestand, and the Boston Red Sox are the opposition on Friday, September 10th. A lot of good baseball ahead. The Sox try to wrap it up. Manuel Rodriguez, who we saw in the first game, we're seeing him again.
He'll face the top of the order for the Sox. By the way, saw on the old Twitter last night, Danny Mendick had a walk-off home run for Charlotte in AAA.
That's great. Hit a root for Danny Mendick.
One of the good dudes in baseball.
Yes, he is.
Cesar Hernandez. First pitch, fly ball. Ian Happ into foul ground.
It's a nice catch. Yeah. Very nice catch, keeping his concentration, leaning into the net. But that was well done. You got ball guy's stool and the stands coming up. Good concentration to put that away.
The guard left the stool behind.
Yeah.
Save yourself. Luis Robert, second career 2-home run game. In the first, in the sixth. Against Hendricks and against Efros. Duffy throws him out. Let's go to the studio, see what's coming up. Subaru White Sox post-game live. It's Ozzie Guillen, and it's Chuck Garfien, guys. Chuck, Ozzie, thank you. You guys always have fun. We love that about you. Sebi Zavala hitting for Jose Abreu in the DH spot here in the eighth.
Jose drove in runs number 100 and 101 with that double in the fifth inning. Right in the middle of a 7-run fifth that, for all intents and purposes, put it away.
So, in this series, the Sox have had a 7-run fifth today. Cubs had a 5-run fourth yesterday. Cubs had a 6-run first on Friday, and then the Sox had an 8-run third.
It's been a very strange series. Entertaining, certainly. A little something for everybody. Been at times some masterful pitching. Ronaldo Lopez was as good as he has possibly been probably ever in a major league uniform. 5 perfect innings in relief of Dallas Keuchel. That was Friday night. Last night, Alec Mills was brilliant for the Cubs. I mean, that was a masterful job. And it was sandwiched in between a couple of offensive onslaughts by Sox hitters. There is Ronaldo, enjoying certainly the fruits of his labors. And the first and the third game of the series, the bats were absolutely booming.
You look and you say, 30 runs in a 3-game series. Got to be a sweep, right? It does not.
No.
But it can be a series win in 3 outs. Sox by a dozen. To the 9th we go. Dylan Cease outstanding today, and he has turned it over to the bullpen, including this guy.
Liam Hendricks on to pick up an inning with the off day tomorrow. You don't want him to spend too many days away from that mound. So he's on for the 55th time. 29 saves, ERA of 3 1/4, but 90 strikeouts and 55 1/3. This should be a good matchup. I like to see this matchup. Wisdom's had just a great series. As good a series with his glove as he has with the bat.
Phenomenal at third base.
He's been really good, and today he's been handled as far as offensively is concerned. But he's been very dangerous. 4 home runs in the series.
Fastball high starts him off. Don't forget, Sox and Pirates coming up Tuesday. Lucas Giolito against the team he no-hit on this very field last year. There's Lucas. Last we saw him in the dugout, he was doing the Eloy injected into my veins motion, hopping up and down, celebrating with his guys. As the ninth inning is brought to you by Guaranteed Rates. I want one of those red shirts me and Adam Engel have on. I like those.
Let's see what I can do.
Thank you. Work on that.
Get it to you by 2024.
You're really the height of helpful sometimes.
No.
Truly.
That's the kind of influence I have here, Pally.
You're nothing if not influential. You're an influencer.
Yes.
Get your own YouTube channel. Two and two on Wisdom. Carlos Rodon will throw Wednesday against Mitch Keller for the Pirates. He got him. Liam Hendricks with a primal scream even before the punch out by Barber.
We'll take another look. It's a slider. Really too close to take. I mean, it is borderline. Looks like it had a piece of the plate. And Wisdom checking it up. Well, at first I thought that was Sean Barber. Then it turns out to be Liam Hendricks.
Sounded like the loudest crow you've ever seen fly over your house.
Just counting.
Well, you know, the rest of the season here is August and everything after.
That's it
for the Sox. Liam Hendricks' demeanor on the mound, I just wonder if in the middle of his outing you walked up, tapped him on the shoulder and said, "I don't like you very much." What would happen?
He gets pretty intense.
Off the plate by a hair, 2-1 for Duffy, one of two Matt Duffys to play in Major League Baseball in recent years. As I recall, they used to get each other's mail. Tough.
Easily confused.
Yeah. Into right, and Brian Goodwin snares out number 2. There's that Pirates series, 6:30 p.m. pregame festivities. Super White Sox postgame live is on the way after one more out for the Sox and Liam Hendricks. Tepera a clean inning, Kopech a scoreless 8th. And now Hendricks against Hayward. The Cubs have one base runner since the end of the 5th inning. Hermosillo, I should say, for Hayward here. 2 out. Strike 1. Strike 2. Sox are going for their 7th win by 10 or more runs this year. Oh, and 2. Struck him out. 3 pitches and a farewell for Liam Hendricks to the Cubs. 13-1 your final score in a 7-run inning, Steve.
It was an entertaining series, certainly, capped off by a lot of offense again today. So the Sox have won the series. They've won 5 of 6 this year from the Cubs, and now they'll turn their attention to the Pittsburgh Pirates after a much-needed and deserved off day tomorrow. So plenty of time to get your rest, but just show up Tuesday night. We'll see you then.
I will do that.
Okay.
Good to be back with you for this series, by the way.
This was a wildly entertaining series.
All right, farewell. We will see you on Tuesday. For now, for our producer, Chris Withers, our director, Dave Turner, our associate producer, Chris Kamka, our entire wonderful crew, Joe Grube up here in the booth, Steve Stone, Jason Benetti, we say goodbye. Sox win 13-1. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Subaru White Sox postgame live with Chuck and Ozzy is now.